The bodies of 6 British soldiers killed in a catastrophic explosion in Afghanistan have finally been returned home. It's 2 weeks to the day since the tragedy, the largest loss of life on the front line in one single incident since 2006. From the 1st Battalion, the Duke of Lancaster's regiment, Sergeant Nigel Coupe, who was 33 and attached to 3 Yorks. The 5 others were from the 3rd Battalion, the Yorkshire Regiment, Corporal Jake Hartley, Private Anthony Frampton, Private Daniel Wade, all aged 20, and Private Christopher Kershaw, who was 19, and Private Daniel Wilford, who was 21. Our reporter Jeff Mead has spent the day with families at Brize Norton and joins us now from the Memorial Garden at Carterton. Jeff.
Kate, it's been a very difficult and very sad day for the families. Of course, they gathered here, they arrived in the last few minutes to be present at the roadside at this Memorial Garden as the 6 hearses in a cortege passed by here, and it's a chance for the families who have had some private time with their loved ones to express their grief publicly. They are joined here by some 2,000 people. They've come from far and wide, many of whom have travelled from Yorkshire, from Cheshire, from Lancashire, the homes of the 6 fallen soldiers, also from the immediate locality, from the area around here, which has of course very strong connections with the military. Many people too have travelled here from Wootton Bassett, and indeed of course this place now has taken over from Wootton Bassett as the centre for national mourning, where people can come and express their grief and gratitude. We think that the cortege will be arriving here very shortly. The aircraft which brought the 6 coffins home arrived earlier today, some 4 hours ago, exactly and precisely on time. The aircraft bringing the 6 bodies on their homeward journey appeared exactly on schedule at lunchtime over RAF Brize Norton in Oxfordshire, where family, friends and service colleagues watched silently as the C17 approached. Among them, a contingent from the Yorkshire Cadet Unit honouring the youngest to die, 19-year-old Chris Kershaw, not the first fatality they've mourned.
It's been absolutely shattering because it's come so hard on the heels of the death of Sheldon Steele, who was also one of our cadets. In a way, it's been a high and a low of my time with the SAF. A low, obviously, with the terrible loss, but a high in the way that the cadets and the staff have come together almost like a family, and the way they've supported each other.
With precision and solemnity, one by one the coffins came into view, carried by comrades along the aircraft's ramp. Each bearer party slow marching to the waiting hearses. The airfield stilled, time itself seemed to pause as the ceremony repeated again and again in this, the largest repatriation for 6 years. The deaths of so many soldiers killed when their Warrior armoured vehicle was destroyed in a massive explosion 2 weeks ago today is the greatest single UK loss of life to enemy action in Afghanistan so far.
I just don't want them to be there anymore, and for this to keep happening, it's just awful, so sad.
You know, those young lads need us to be here at the roadside. My husband was in the forces, and you know, I just feel strongly that I needed to come today.
We all ought to show our appreciation of what these young men and women have done for the country and for Afghanistan.
It's important for us to carry on the job that the people of Royal Wootton Bassett started and did so well in actually marking and showing our respect when troops are lost overseas.
Kate, a moment ago, the blue lights of the police escort passed through here. The parade was called to attention. The Royal British Legion banner party, as you see, are preparing for their tribute. They will lower those banners as the first of the 6 hearses passes here. It is a very moving spectacle, of course, as the first of the hearses comes slowly into view at walking pace. It carries Sergeant Nigel Coupe. He was 33, vehicle commander of the Warrior on that day. Sergeant Coupe served in the army for 16 years. Let's join in the silence which honours him and his 5 comrades today. The 2-minute silence is broken by spontaneous applause from the hundreds, some 2,000 people lining the route here as the 6 hearses make their way at walking pace along Norton Way outside RAF Brize Norton, carrying the bodies of Sergeant Nigel Coupe, Corporal Jake Hartley, and then in alphabetical order the 4 private soldiers who died with them: Private Anthony Frampton, Private Christopher Kershaw, Private Daniel Wade and Private Daniel Wilford. The roofs of the vehicles and the roadsides strewn with flowers, many of course the white roses of Yorkshire, representing the Yorkshire Regiment, the 3rd Battalion of which 5 of those fallen were members of. Comrades and colleagues are here today, people from the service community of Brize Norton, and of course most importantly friends and families who travelled down from the north today to bear witness to their loss and the gratitude that they all speak of, that they owe these men who gave their lives in that terrible explosion just 2 weeks ago today. It's a very moving moment here. As you saw, the whole area felt absolutely quiet for 2 minutes. The cortege stationary, the families able to push forward and say their public farewell to their loved ones. They've had some private time with them in the chapel at the centre here, the newly opened repatriation centre. But this was a time when they could show their grief and share that grief, and also sense the gratitude from the people here, giving these brave soldiers a farewell as they make their way from Brize Norton up to John Radcliffe, the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford, where the post-mortems will take place and the process will begin for the inquests, which will be the next stage, the funerals, and then the inquests, which will look into this terrible tragedy that cost so many lives on that single day 2 weeks ago, Kate.
Jeff Mead in Carterton, thank you very much.